What's up everybody, my name is Darth Jeswick and welcome back to my channel. Today we're building a base game apartment building in San Myshuno, and yeah, I know San Myshuno is not a base game world, but I wanted to build a apartment that looks like the surrounding buildings. But you could place it in a base game world and it would look just fine. So we pretty much have the shell of the building done at this point. I'm just adding a couple of small patios so that each apartment building has their own outdoor space. I'll also add a secondary balcony just so that the Sims can have a little bit more outdoor space and do some more activities outside. They look a little bit empty once it's all said and done, but I wanted to leave room for the For Rent expansion pack items just in case there was any cool things that we wanted to come back and add to the building later, which I fully plan on doing once the pack comes out, because then we can actually put all the stuff that we need in it, add what we need to add. I know we're gonna have to add like some appliances that you can actually fix as the landlord, so that'll be fun. I was able to get 4 apartments out of this building. 2 of them are larger apartments. They're the first floor and second floor apartments, and the top 2 floor apartments are 2 sim apartments, just so there's a little variety in the gameplay. And I have no idea how this is going to work or how apartments will function, but I really hope that Sims aren't just like walking into your apartments, because that already happens to me just in regular gameplay now. Like Sims will just like wander into my house, and even though I have the door locks, and it's like, how did you get in here? Yeah, so I'm a little skeptical, but I'm also hopeful that everything will work properly when it comes out, unlike Wedding Stories, which was just a disaster, and still is a disaster. Like, I've never been able to fully have a wedding in The Sims that functions like it's supposed to. Just working on the floor plan for the top 2 apartments here. I put the bathrooms all on the left side of the building. I figured that's kind of realistic, like having all the plumbing like lined up in one spot. And depending on the size of the apartment, I either gave them a shower or shower tub combo. I gave every apartment the same kitchen countertops as well as appliances like the refrigerator and the stove. Just for more realism, I figured that most apartment buildings come with these items. Not all, but a lot of them do. I'm realizing now that I pretty much did the same furniture in all of the builds. I just wanted it to be really consistent, and it also made it a lot easier to furnish because I wasn't like trying to think of a storyline for a bunch of Sims. And even though I was using the same thing in pretty much every apartment, it still took me like 3 hours to build this. And if I had all the packs installed, I probably would have gone a lot more in depth with the decorating each apartment, but that could have caused your game to get super laggy, and I ended up just having to switch all my wallpapers to the same wallpaper because this is quite a large build, and I used a lot of debug on the outside, and that was just kind of causing some glitching problems, which makes me even more nervous for when the pack comes out, because we're gonna have to make these insanely huge builds to accommodate all these families, and there's a huge lag problem already in the game, so we'll see. I really wanted to use this green wallpaper too, so it was really upsetting. Like, it looked so much better with the green wallpaper, and now it's just white and boring. But now we're moving on to the second smallest apartment here. This is the second 1-bedroom apartment. The only thing I wish we had is more swatches of this rug that they recently added, so it had some more like plain swatches and not some kid swatches, which it is supposed to be a kid's room rug, but it's a good rug, and I would use it a lot more if it had more neutral swatches. I almost didn't think I was going to be able to fit a dining room in this apartment, but I was just squeezed 2 chairs up against this window, and the Sims that you have living here should be able to get by it just fine. It was right around here where I realized I wasn't using a base game door. Don't worry, I fixed it and replaced it with a base game door, so it is all base game. I think this one's from University, because at first I wasn't going to do an all base game apartment. I was just going to like use as many packs as I wanted, but I decided against it. I didn't add a lot of curtains to this build. I hate the base game curtains. They don't have medium length curtains, so they just look bad. But there are a few, so we're just going to have to pretend that they actually cover the entire window. Even though I used a lot of the same items, I did try to make every apartment different in its own way. We're working on the first floor apartment right now, though. The camera kept like jumping up and down weird whenever I was furnishing the second and third floor apartments, so I just got really annoyed, so I just started working on the first floor apartment. And I don't even think it's because I was working on the second or third floor. I think it's just because of the other buildings that are in the area. It was kind of like messing things up. That's just something I noticed when we're building in San Myshuno. I wanted there to be a couple of kids' bedrooms so that your tenants could start families or just have bigger families living in your apartments. And you can kind of see what I'm talking about with the curtains because they don't actually go all the way to the floor. It's super weird. It's super frustrating that they don't have medium length curtains. Like if the base game needs an update to anything, it's their curtains. They're awful. The kitchen in the bottom floor gave me a lot of trouble. I wasn't really sure how big of a dining room table we would need, but we ended up fitting this huge dining room table in here with 6 seats at it, so we have plenty of room for all of our Sims. Can fit 5 Sims alone in this apartment. I'm also wondering if they're gonna increase the limit of Sims on a lot, because as of now you can only have like 20 Sims or 25, because it seems like if there's already like 20 Sims on your lot living in your apartment building, there's not going to be Sims like wandering around in the world. I don't know. I gave every apartment a little mud room area so they have somewhere to take off their shoes, and if you have Snowy Escape, you can actually have your Sims take off their shoes when they enter their house by clicking on these little shoe racks and selecting the option for it, which is pretty neat and adds a little bit of realness to your Sims game. And out of all of the apartments, I think this one is my favorite. I don't know, the living room just seems super cozy and I want to just sit in here and like read a good book or watch my tablet, curl up under a blanket. It's been really cold where I live, so I'm like constantly wearing a blanket and like standing in front of my heater, which is probably not good for you, but I can never get warm. I also added a little toy chest out here in the living room just so that your Sims kids can come out here and grab a toy and then it's not cluttering up their bedroom because there's more space out here in the living room anyway. I also added a fun movie poster and the elements table just so that your Sims can collect some things and add to their decor. But now we're getting to our last apartment here. I wanted a couple of large sofas in here, a big TV. I still added 2 teen or child beds as well as a toddler bed, as well as just a normal adult bed for the parents or grandparents. I added a nice rug to this one. I wanted it to seem a little bit more high end. You know, maybe they have a little bit better job so they can afford a few nicer things. Because we have a toddler bed in this apartment, I added an ottoman because toddlers love sitting on ottomans to eat. Like, I don't know what it is. They'll completely walk past couches and chairs just to sit on an ottoman to eat. I wish we had more clutter boxes like the one on this table here. I just like the little shape that's inside of it with the little books and stuff. And then we moved on to the children's room. I added 3 beds in here so that there's plenty of space. But you could also delete one of the beds and add a desk underneath of it and it would still work just fine. I gave this living room a built-in desk with a bookshelf and a laptop because I don't think I put any computers anywhere else in the building. I don't really think I did. But if you wanted to live in this building before the pack comes out, this is the apartment that I would probably live in. At least to start out, unless you were playing with just a single sim. But if I was playing with a family, I would totally live in this apartment. I keep saying that with every apartment. They're all my favorite apartments. And this shelf was really fun because these base game shelves don't actually have slats on them. So I put a shelf that did have slats on them and kind of like scooted everything over using the Alt key. I also gave them a dino plushie and a drawing table. I don't normally do this, but I added a high chair to the kitchen for your infant or toddler. They get kind of glitchy. Your toddlers or infants get stuck in there because their parents just kind of leave them in there. I think they fixed it with growing together, but I still experience that from time to time. Decorating the patios was pretty interesting. I just put a couple of chairs on each of them, a little chess table, a bonsai tree, pretty much any skill activity that I could find. I just kind of, that could fit in there, I just put out there on the patio. And this is our little trash area. Your Sims can actually walk out this door and like put their garbage in here. I'm just pretending that there's 1 trash for each level because 4 trash cans just seemed a bit excessive. And I'm kind of hoping that the new pack comes with either a new dumpster or like a trash chute because I feel like that'd be pretty cool for an apartment building. Like we do have a dumpster from Eco Lifestyle, but it's not the same, you know? So I just took these pieces of wall and sized them down and then raised them up using the 9 key to create this little custom area here. And then I used the same wall pieces to create the backyard and parking area. Although it wouldn't be very easy for your Sim to drive a car here, we're just gonna have to pretend again. Because we have kids in the building, I added a monkey bar set and a jungle gym. We've got our cars back there. I put some dirt and sand down. If you had island living, you could actually build sand castles in the sand, which is pretty fun. And then I added a toy box outside as well, just so that your Sims kids don't have to bring their own toys out here. These planter boxes came out of debug, and then I just added a couple of plants that look like the ones in the surrounding area just to match. You could also probably place this in Oasis Springs and it would work there too. I don't have any playtester Sims for this build just because it was so large, so the playtesting is going to go a little bit differently. That is just about all for today's video. Make sure you hit that like button because it really helps out. I try to post a couple times a week, so make sure you're subscribed to my channel and hit that notification bell so that you get one every time I post a new video. I hope you all have an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all in the next video. Dag dag!